everyone. I want to thank you for joining our September 21st Intermediate Planning webinar. Today we'll be reviewing Reduced Seed Traits Scenario in today's webinar. My name is Dan Ba. I am one of the Precision Business Planning Specialists here at AgSolver. And in today's webinar, we'll run through our agenda here. So we're going to go over introduction of what we'll be covering, where we're going to identify a field to compare a high seed trait package versus a low seed trait package, along with the chemical package that goes along with those. And then we're going to select zones and work scenarios representing standard assumptions and associated costs. And then we will compare return on investment on zones and scenarios. And then towards the tail end, we'll follow up with any questions anyone might have. Before we hop into Profit Zone Manager, I do want to mention that we are in Q&A mode. So if you have any questions, please type your questions in the chat box as we're going through the web. We'll stop and answer those accordingly. You can see my contact information there. My email is djba@agsolver.com, or you can email our support team in Ames. That's support@agsolver.com. And then you can see my cell phone, which is 319-238-1978. So now we'll hop into Profit Zone Manager. Minimize this window. And so today we will be looking at one of my own fields that we're looking at either putting a smart stack on or switching completely to a reduced seed trait package and then spraying our protection of fungicide and also an insecticide aerial application later on in the season. So what we're first looking at here is our production 2015. Last year that we had corn on this field, we're in a corn soybean rotation. On this 116 acre field, we had strong profit and strong agronomic yield. We were able to produce 209 bushels an acre. Our profit was $71. Return on investment was 10%. And scrolling down the bottom, total field profit was right around 8,300. But today's commodity prices and moving forward has us wondering, all right, how are we going to make 2017 just as profitable as 2015, even though commodity prices have dropped close to $1 from what we were looking at back in 2015. So what we're first going to do is model up our full trait low chem, what we're typically going to do on all of our corn ground. So what we're first going to do is model up and copy a scenario and base it off of our actual production 2015. So we're going to click on copy scenario, and we'll base it off actual production corn 2015, and we're going to call this 2017 full trait standard chem package. And for us, we plant either smart stacks or double pros, and then on the herbicide and protection side, spray a pre and then 2 post. So we're a 3-pass system. Don't do anything later on in the season. So we're first going to name our new scenario 2017 full trait standard chem package and click save. And that's loading up. And primarily what we've have just completed is we've created a carbon copy of our actual production corn 2015 and rename it 2017 full trait standard chem package. Now what I'm going to do next is adjust our budget to represent 2017. So instead of 376, and I checked this morning, at the local ethanol plant their cash bids for November of 2017, November and October, around 355 per bushel as of right now. And within this, we're projecting forward a year out. So our equipment is going to stay the same. And for us, we have our combine, sprayer, planter, grain cart, and anhydrous all broken out on a cost per acre. Our seed, we're actually going to increase that to $35 an acre. Fertilizer is still going to be right around $136 an acre. Herbicide and insecticide, we're going to leave that at $45 again. Insurance, that's going to be dropped down to $18 an acre. Land cost still $275. We'll click save. So we're first baselining ourselves and benchmarking ourselves. So if we still produce 209 bushel based off of our new crop budget that we have in place, we're still going to make about $28 an acre. Return on investment is going to be 4%. And we're going to make potentially $3,300 on this field. Now, this is one of our more productive fields, and just from a working capital standpoint, we're looking at, we want to see, all right, if we can save $50 worth of seed cost, and then spray on our protection package with a fungicide and insecticide later on in the season, what's that going to do? Because really we're wanting to free up working capital, but we don't want to give up yield from an agronomic standpoint. So we're going to next model up our reduced trait with high chem package. So what we're going to do, we're going to copy a scenario again and base it off of our 2017 full trait standard chem package. And once we create this, we will then adjust the crop budget. So after we rename it, we'll go and click save. So then we'll hop into this budget by clicking the options drop-down menu right beside the scenario name. Edit budget. See if there's any questions. So we're going to leave our commodity price at $355 again. Equipment cost from our operational standpoint is going to stay the same, but seed cost is going to drop down to $75. We're going to leave our fertility program the same, but now we're going to be applying a fourth pass to this field. So with fungicide and insecticide, and that's going to be an additional $20 an acre. So, and this is just looking at the basic product. So it's going to be $65. Land cost is the same, labor. But now for custom hire, we're going to add an additional cost of $9.50 due to aerial application. So next we'll click save. And so, and we also looked at, all right, are we going to be giving up some yield along with switching over to, say, non-GMO reduced trait package. We can come in and model up a reduced yield on this field. So by clicking the Add Zone button, our drawing tools pop up with our ruler, our search function. We can search by tier range, our polygon drawing tool, or at the very bottom, we have the whole field zone button. If we click on that whole field zone button, that will pull up our crop budget that we've just entered for this field. And I'm just going to name this zone Yield Adjust. So you can see our zone average yield is right around 209 bushels for field average. And we're going to knock yield back by, we'll start at 8%. We'll go ahead and click Save. So we've reduced our cost of production on our reduced traits chem package by reducing seed costs about $60, but we've also increased our chemical package by an additional roughly right around $29.50 an acre by applying that additional fourth pass and then adjusting our overall yield for this field back by 8. And this is where the user interface comes into play. We could have left the yield the same, or we could start knocking it back to starting at -8% or about 18 bushels, 18 to 20 bushels, or we can knock that back to 5 or 10 to see where the payout would be. So after we adjusted the yield, and we've created our 2017 planning scenarios of full trait, standard chem, along with reduced trait, high chem package, we can then come up to the options drop down menu right beside the field name. We click on that. The very first option is compare scenarios. Click that. And now we're going to do a side-by-side comparison of our reduced trait next to our full trait. So on the left-hand side, we have our full trait standard chem package that we apply to our field. And then to the right, our reduced trait high chem package for 2017. So, and based off of those prices that we have, you can see, and we, on the left-hand side, we left yield the same, say our yield goal is still 209 with our expected profit per acre, return on investment, and total field profit at 3,300. Whereas where we cut yield by about 18 to 20 bushels on this field, we're losing about a cent, so primarily breaking even on this field if we reduce it 8% or give up close to 18 to 20 bushel. So, and we have our histogram comparing the acres to profit per acre below here. So we can print this report. It's a nice one-sheet handout comparing the two types of scenarios that we're looking at. We close out and then hop back into our reduced trait high chem package for a yield adjust. We edit the budget. Say instead of losing only 8% on yield, what if we move that back to say we only lose 3%? And this is where the modeling comes into play. This is real meat and potatoes of profit zone managers, the ability to create planning scenarios. So then if we go back to our compare scenarios window with our full trait left hand side, next to our reduced trait, we just even give up 3% or about 7 bushels. It's that reduced trait high chem package is extremely attractive. We're now getting a little over, or it's more competitive. So if we close out of that, now we'll open the floor up for any questions anyone might have regarding this scenario. So like our webinar at 10 o'clock, this is being, and it will be posted on YouTube after it is completed. And if you want to create the scenario on your own field, please feel free to reach out to me either via email or phone. Be more than happy to set up a one-on-one webinar with you and walk through these specific steps on your own fields, specific budgetary numbers, so you can see which option is best for you going into 2017. Wait another minute or two for any questions to roll in. So then here at the bottom, you can see the whole field zone performance, really the before and after stage. And if we switch over to 2017, or actually 2017 reduced trade, click on yield adjust, the before and after of that zone performance. We can look at different map layers within Profit Zone Manager, and for this I'm going to switch back to actual production 2015. So we have our field performance with our bar chart comparing the acres to profitability per acre, and we can filter the field based off of profit per acre. We have a pie chart of where our inputs are going, a soils data bank chart from NRCS and Sergo Soils, growing degree day chart along with precipitation totals, and we can compare different years with the heat units as the line running across the chart. And then crop data layer from 15, 14, 13, and 12 showing acres of corn or soybeans were in this field. Different map layers includes profit map, yield map, return on investment, break even, yield increase, so the amount of bushels that we need to increase to break even, our break even commodity price. So it looks like majority of this field, we need 360 corn, between 320 and $4 corn back in 15. Our expense decrease. This area we're having water management issues. In the southeast corner, production efficiency, and then soils map of the field. I want to thank everyone for joining our webinar today, and see you next week.